Well, Faith Lutheran Church, we are on chapter 3 of the book, The Story, this week in our message time together in worship. In chapter 3, we're going to be talking about dreams, especially Joseph's dreams. It's interesting, isn't it, that when people are nearing midlife, they often crash into some startling and unexpected observations. For instance, we all dream big dreams when we were younger. Some of us want to be president. Others of us just simply want to be a firefighter or teacher. But as we move on through the breakneck pace of our 20s, 30s, and 40s, we eventually slam ahead into a realization that some of our dreams will never be a reality. That observation throws some people into a midlife crisis. Some don't make it that far with their aspirations having already given them up somewhere along the way. Some run into conflict that makes them weary and they settle for less. Still others, they make a bold decision to trade in one dream for another. That's what Joseph did. Talk about dreams. At 17, he dreamed his 10 older brothers would bow down to him. It's enough that he dreamed it. What makes it even worse is that he had the boldness to tell his brothers about it. The other brothers already had issues with the younger son. Because you see, the father favored Joseph over all the rest. He had even given him a valuable multicolored coat. That's the modern day equivalent of a parent of 4 teenagers giving one of them an iPhone and the other 3 a stack of quarters, each for a payphone, assuming that in today's world you can even find a payphone when you're out and about. The brothers banded together and they tossed the dreamer into a ditch, eventually selling him into slavery at the first opportunity that they had. The next thing Joseph knew, he was waking up in Egypt. From there on, his life was a roller coaster, a thrill ride, you might say. 1 minute a slave, the next he's in charge of an Egyptian official's house. The next, he's once again thrown into prison. The next, he's in charge of the prison. Then he finds himself in front of Pharaoh, called upon to interpret the leader's dreams. At this moment, with God's help, he was able to warn Pharaoh he would have 7 years of an abundant crop that he should put into a storehouse in anticipation for another 7 years of famine. Recognizing his wisdom, Pharaoh put Joseph second in command of all of Egypt. And because of God's personal involvement in his life, he wasn't just able to save himself, but he was able to save his entire family. That same family that God had promised to build into a nation, Joseph was in position to bring his family to Egypt and give them the most fertile land to work. And it was definitely fertile. For in the time they were there, it was fruitful and increased greatly, according to Exodus chapter 1, verse 7. Joseph could have lost his life getting caught up in the details of his life, chasing his dream and his desires. Instead, he chose a better story. He chose God's story. You can do the same thing. If your life's dreams has stalled, look to God. If your dream now realizes it's not all you thought it would be, look to God. He can give you another dream, a better one. Not according to what the world's standards are, but God's criteria. Just look at Joseph's story. Then you'll have a story to tell. I hope that you continue on in your reading and you join us this weekend for worship. And I'm so glad to be able to see so many of your faces through Bible study and worship on Sunday mornings. Go in peace and serve the Lord. Have a great rest of your day.